It's awesome. Thanks for sharing with that. Yeah, very similar experience, and maybe a lot of people, like I think high school is that time when you're like you're nearly out of your parents' house, and you start to like get some independence. Maybe you get your own car if you're here in the States or not in a city, and you're starting to kind of like veer out on your own. You got like I need to like make this my belief or not, and so
Yeah.
that's a cool. Yeah, it's a
Well,
good thing.
I'm a really big believer in it's okay to ask all the questions and just ask and keep asking and keep asking and going down and learning for yourself and not just relying on some especially like a Facebook post, oh my gosh. But I think you get in there, and that was one of my big reasons to learn Greek and Hebrew, is because I actually wanted to go back to the original text and read it for myself and be able to say I have looked at these scrolls. I have actually looked at it myself. I've read them all. Here's what I believe. Here's why I believe it. And here's all the different things. And until I could do that, I just knew I wouldn't be completely satisfied in my faith at all, or in in telling somebody else about it. And so that's, for me, it's a driving factor. It's just asking questions and thinking it's okay to ask questions. And I easily can tell you I don't have my parents' beliefs, because my beliefs are because I've made them. Like, they're 100% mine and my own, and I will hold them for me.
Yeah, and that's something to celebrate. I think that for parents that are maybe watching this thing, that's something to celebrate, is that your kids have, if they've done the research,
Right.
that they've found their own beliefs. It's hard when they're not your own. It's hard when they go a different way.
Yeah,
I have
if they're
friends
not,
come to me and be like,
eventually you're going to hit a spot, especially in today's culture, which is all about attacking you in every possible way. If you're relying on a belief from your parents, then that's going to be stripped. You're going to lose that pretty quick. It's going to be attacked,
yeah.
because then you don't have that foundation to stand on. So yeah, you really need to do it yourself.
It's funny. I think that even, obviously in the Christendom, you have parents that are like, get a little nervous if their kid veers like 1 degree away from like their beliefs or their traditions, maybe. But also it's funny, putting myself out there. Sometimes as a Christian, I'll have parents come to me, maybe parents in the coworkers in video production, film production, and they'll be like, "Yeah, my daughter's like going to church now. It's kind of like I'm not sure what to think about that." And it's like, and so it's kind of interesting. That's a parental thing, I think, that
Yeah.
like, hey, my kid's believing something different than me. So you have to kind of just accept that's what's
Yeah.
going to happen, is your kids are not you. My kids are like 12 and 10, and I'm starting to worry they're not going to be exactly like me.
Yeah. Well, my oldest is 13, and for me, I'm comfortable saying I want you to ask questions. We can have conversations, but at the end of the day, if he's just relying on what I say, I know it's not going to work for him, because it didn't work for me. So it's one of those things where I think the more conversations that you can have and the more open you can be, saying, like, I don't know, we're very uncomfortable, it seems like, in the Christian realm, saying like we don't know all the answers to everything. And I think sometimes you just need to say, like, I don't know. That is one of those mysterious questions that we don't know, but we do know this part, and focus on the things that like there's hills to die on, and then there's hills to discuss. And I think that it's a good thing with your kids to train them up and teach them which ones are the ones that are, which ones will their daddy die on, versus which ones are the ones that you should talk about and be open to and look at all the different angles of.
That's such a good thing too. Is like, I think letting people. I feel, being a Christian like yourself who says I don't have all the answers, to just say that out loud and to let other people hear that we don't have all the answers. We have our beliefs. We have what we believe, what we've come to believe from experience or teaching or learning or research, and but letting our young people, letting our peers, just being honest and say, I don't know. How did you come to that? How did you come to your conclusion of atheism? How did you come to your conclusion? It's just a little bit of listening that we're not doing.
Yeah.
I think the more we listen, the more we'll learn, and the more we the more we listen, the people want to be listened to, you know, and the more
Right.
we listen to, the more kudos we get, even if they don't believe what we think, and that's fine, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool, good. We're all right. We've solved the world's problems there, at least
Yes, we
Christianity's
did.
problems. So let's move on to something we don't know the answer to, or I want to hear your story. Uh, have you ever had a paranormal or spiritual or a supernatural, you know, personal experience?
Yeah. Well, so this is one of those areas where I think that you can. It really depends on where you're coming from. So I would say I've had quite a few, and depending on how you look at it, some people would say, maybe maybe it wasn't, or maybe it was, or different things. And so, my wife and I, we've experienced quite a lot of things, but like I boil back to some simple things. Like I remember I was driving down the highway. I had this a convertible, and I was in college, and I was driving fast, and it was not crazy, but driving fast down the freeway. And I've never actually. No, it's definitely over the speed limit. Like, I mean, we're gonna be honest.
Thank you for your confession.
We're gonna be honest. We're definitely probably going too fast. But I was driving down the road, and I actually I can say I've never heard like an audible voice of God. Like I've never heard that. Like that'd be awesome. But I haven't really heard it. But I don't really know how to describe. But I've definitely heard like something told me to get over. Like it was clear, and I was like, I remember thinking like, what? And it was like it was like really, I don't know how else to describe it. It was just a really strong, like, you need to get the heck over now. And so I just got over, and like I kid you not, the minute I got over, the car in front of me was this big truck that had all this stuff strapped to it, and one of those things was a refrigerator. And this refrigerator, I kid you not, when I got over it, that thing flew off and slammed right where my car was, like exploded into a bunch of it. It was a big giant aluminum refrigerator. And I remember it drove by, and there was this moment where I was like, okay, you need to remember this, because no one is going to believe that this just happened. There was no reason to get over. There was nobody near me. But I mean, if I hadn't gotten over it, that would have just went straight through that car, because it was a little convertible and whatever. But so I've had lots of experiences like that.
Driving a Miata.
It was a Mitsubishi Eclipse GT.
Same thing.
Yeah. Anyway, and it was a stick shift, and it was fast, and I liked it a lot. But yeah. So anyway, all that to say, like I've had lots of experiences that are similar to that are, for me, they're undeniable. Like, because I know what I felt or what I heard at the different moments, and there's these clear things that happen. Now, telling it to somebody else, they might just say, well, no, you just got over, and accidents happen all the time, but I think that if you're the one experiencing it, it's harder to deny the thing happened than it is to say, no, it actually happened. And so I've had lots of experiences just like that one. But I mean, I've even included that same exact story in some of my scripts, because it's in Breakers, actually, that story. One of the persons talk about that story in Breakers, because for me, it was a real deal. Like, it is full on 100%. So
the voice, it sounds like the voice liked that convertible as well. So, he's like, he's like, save the convertible, get over.
Yeah. But I mean, it was like I was going to have to fight it to not get over it. It was so strong. It was just like there's really no way to describe it. I can't do it for you, but it was just like the urge to get over was so great that it was almost undeniable that you had to get over. So anyway, that's that
awesome
story.